Only our mother can tell us apart. This week, Shane and I are discussing Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito in 1988's classic comedy, Twins. This is Boy Party. Welcome. Hello. Welcome to the latest episode of Boy Party, podcast about movies where two massive stars share the screen, not the squeen, playing twins. I can't think of many other films where the cast's two big movie stars as twins, but we'll discuss that in a moment. My name is Lucien. I'm joined as always by my twin, Shane.
Brother from another
mother. I'm big. He's small. There's not... Casting us as twins has really got no comedic value.
Unless you do a very tropey Irish thing of like...
One of them plays the GA, and one of them is a lanky dweeb.
Yeah, we just remake Handsome Devil.
Sure, you could do Handsome Devil. You'd have to change a few things about me to make me... You'd have to change a couple of things about both of us to make the disparity wider.
Yeah, you'd have to make me more handsome and you probably less
You'd have to make me either like really, really gross and greasy, or you'd have to like make me gay.
Yeah.
And then you'd have to be like a real jock asshole, like 10 times worse than you are.
I've got like a small hint of that, but like...
Yeah, but you'd have to be much worse. Yeah. This is a film that does not create half enough of... Or sorry, this is a film that really gets too sweaty in trying to create a disparity between its two characters when there is already more than enough to work off of.
Sure.
Anyway, today's movie is Twins. Twins is a 1988 comedy directed by Ivan Reitman, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger
and Danny
DeVito. A question that occurred to me as I was thinking about this, because this movie very much is, the poster is Schwarzenegger, DeVito, twins, right? You go, oh, perfect, Boy Party. Is Danny DeVito a movie star, a character actor, both, or a third thing? Is he a TV star that was allowed to pretend to be a movie star? Because I don't think he's necessarily a character actor. I think he's too famous to be a character actor.
Know.
He's a household name. Like, he's beloved and he's a household name.
But does he get leading film roles where his thing isn't that he is small?
Well, that's not really the point.
Does
Melissa McCarthy get leading film roles where her thing isn't that she's big? Like, I think that the Schwarzenegger got leading roles where his thing isn't that he's big.
Okay, he's still
in comedies. I guess
that still makes him a movie star.
I feel like that's what makes you a movie star, is having a thing. My question.
But I thought that's what makes you a character actor. Well,
no. But like Danny, as in a character actor doesn't have their name above the title on a big summer comedy. Like,
sure,
being above the title on Twins makes him not a character actor, right?
I see, in my head, like, DeVito is in the Paul Giamatti world of actors.
I think Paul Giamatti is a decent comparison in the sense that Paul Giamatti is in all
kind of a
elements,
loud Italian man.
He's a character actor in all on paper, but then on TV he is a leading man.
Yeah,
DeVito is as well.
Yeah,
and then because his TV leading manness is so powerful, they let him pretend to be a movie star. And Giamatti gets to be above the title, the main star on a studio film like The Holdovers, and DeVito does on stuff like this. Now, in the last sort of 20 years, the only studio film I can think of where Danny DeVito had top billing was Dr. Seuss's The Lorax, which relied very heavily on Danny DeVito in its marketing, and the idea that Danny DeVito playing the Lorax was funny and something that kids would appreciate, in the sense of Jack Black playing Kung Fu Panda. Yeah. Of like, this actor bears some resemblance to this cartoon character.
Yes.
And you can chuckle when you see his name on the poster going, good casting. Like, that's kind of what they did with DeVito and the Lorax. And funnily enough, I do think Danny DeVito is well known by kids and young people, like, kind of every generation. Like, he's weirdly managed to stay relevant.
I think he participates in kind of the child culture.
Yeah, like he's in the Jumanji movies.
Yeah, and like
he's
I
in
feel
one of
like
those.
he probably showed up at the Nickelodeon's kid
Possibly. He's definitely on talk shows constantly. Yeah. I feel like he's
in Matilda, which kids have a lot of affection for.
I don't know what today's 12-year-olds think of Matilda, because they have a replacement Matilda.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's the problem. Is his Matilda is so scary that it is almost being kind of slowly erased from the children's culture because it's actually just a bit too scary for kids. And I was fucked up by that film, like
Kids are
genuinely
woke.
And I know I hate to be one of these cliche people who's like, that film, you know, terrified me as a child about something very obvious. But like Danny DeVito's Matilda is very, very disturbing. It features a scene of intense gluttony of a child eating a chocolate cake by under force. It features a child being locked in a room with spikes on the door and no light. It features a child being thrown out of a window by a terrifying brutish woman. It is very scary. He's obviously a director as well, but with a very dark sensibility, which I do like about him. But back to my question, I suppose. Yes, Giamatti, similar type. I guess they are covert movie stars. They are an interesting type of movie star who doesn't have any kind of traditional charisma or beautiful looks or the things you'd associate with your typical boy party movie stars. Yeah. But Danny DeVito is a draw for a lot of people because of the affection that exists for him. And that is a type of movie stardom that is quite powerful.
Yes.
And he is closer to a Paul Giamatti than he is to, let's say, a Judd Hirsch, who he was on Taxi with. And Judd Hirsch is a lifelong, eternal character actor who has never been on the poster of a big film like this. But he is widely known. He is a household name, but he will always be he will never be the first or second lead of a thing.
Was this isn't a kid's movie. This was a
this is like a
summer comedy.
This is like a PG-13 summer comedy.
Yeah, okay.
This is what in the 80s would have been in the 2000s a Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey movie.
Yeah. It's got sex and violence and all that good stuff.
It's a PG-13 sort of comedy for families and adults. I thought it was not very good. I thought it was quite poor and bad, and I didn't like it. What did you think?
I agree for the most part, but I also have like a lot of fondness for it, where I was very charmed by it.
Okay, it's got positive vibes.
I think everyone in it is very likable.
Yeah,
I think they're all trying hard.
Yeah,
I think they're all fully bought into what the film is. But I think the film is ultimately misguided in what it's trying to do.
Yeah,
and
it strays too hard from the promise of its poster.
It does. It doesn't get into that at all.
No. All this movie needs is one guy's big and one guy's small.
Yeah.
What if we had a series of situations where the small guy is able to do one thing that the tall guy isn't able to do, and the tall guy is able to do something the small guy isn't able to do, and the movie is like, no, stop.
No, we're going for a drive.
How could they be related to each other? Yeah. How could it be? It has to be a genetic experiment conducted by a scientist. This movie gets way too worried about how they could be brothers.
Yes.
Instead of just taking pleasure in the idea of them being brothers. And it is such an overcomplication of the premise. And it is typical Ivan Reitman bullshit. This is the man who couldn't just let Ghostbusters be a one-off fun comedy. Yeah. He had to turn it into a 40-year-long sci-fi blockbuster franchise with legacy sequels and spin-offs and remakes. This man just cannot let a good thing be a good thing.
It's over-explained.
It's completely over-explained.
Like they get into a whole thing where like, oh, the egg split in the womb and all the good stuff went into Schwarzenegger.
This is horrible. This is eugenics-y shit. They're like Arnold, you have all the goodness of your mother in you. You are beautiful, all the physical strength and strong and, skills and big. Yeah. Danny DeVito, you are the runt.
You're the leftover.
You are the leftover genes. You are a mistake.
You're the toe fungus.
You're the toe fungus. You're a genetic mistake.
The birthmark.
You're a birthmark. You're an accident. And DeVito's character is rightly like mad depressed when they tell him this. It's a very depressing thing to put into a film that is, meant to be kind of light and fluffy. I literally said in the first 10 minutes, this film is so light, it could float away in the breeze. The film has this fucking score that's just like, do, 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 do. And Arnold's character rocks up to the big city, LA, in like his funny little outfit. And he's like, I am a funny Austrian man. I do not know the ways of the world. And he's like, you know, it's this fish out of water thing about a guy who like behaves like a child, basically. It's like, it's got elf vibes.
Sure.
Why does that need to be part of this? Why can't he just play a typical Arnold Schwarzenegger character? Could they not have just cast him as like a very strong and powerful guy, a football player maybe, and then DeVito is like a fucking random little,
Yeah,
you know.
because like, you can make Schwarzenegger dumb without making him a child.
He could just be like a fucking sports star.
Yeah,
like why does he have to be this
that
like...
he was on an island?
Yeah,
for
he's like this.
most of
He's
his
like
life?
playing a fucking Will Ferrell and Elf, you know, baby brain Barbie type
like
character.
He doesn't have to be
Why?
a supernatural creature for this to be funny.
No, like
he can just be large.
Yeah, and this is his first comedy, which is interesting because he does a lot of comedies after this. I think this is more or less his first comedy. So, to give a sense of his roles leading up to this, he had done a number of his biggest action movies at this point. So Conan's 82, Terminator's 84, Commando's 85, Predator's 87, The Running Man's 87, and then this is 88. So this is his first big comedy. And he obviously doesn't figure out until after this that the way to be used for him to be used in a comedy is just like, what if you're a version of yourself that is in the wrong location?
Yeah.
So instead of that, they're like, he's so fucking big. He looks so weird. He's got to be an otherworldly creature. And in 2 years later, he's in Kindergarten Cop, where the joke is like, no, he's playing the character that he typically plays in movies, big, strong action man.
Yeah.
The joke is just that we put him in an unusual situation. Yes. And then he does that quite successfully in films I haven't seen, I suppose, like Junior, also with DeVito. And then in stuff like Jingle All the Way, which I quite like, where he's like big, scary Arnold, but he's
in
looking for
shop.
a toy.
Yeah.
And then to be honest, he actually doesn't do that much comedy really after that. But he has a Netflix show now that is comedic called Fubar, which is like one of the worst names for a piece of media ever. I would say
it's a known phrase.
Rivaled only by Bodkin. The fact that Netflix in 2024 is putting out shit called Bodkin and Fubar. Like, bring me back to the day where we had TV shows called The West Wing and The Wire.
Sounds like a
Mad
spin-off of
Men.
Harold and Kumar.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to think of what other comedies he's in. Okay, he gives a comedic performance in Batman and Robin where he plays Mr. Freeze and spends the whole movie making ice-themed jokes. Yeah, I guess the Expendables movies have comedy in them. He mostly now just does these kind of like trashy, tongue-in-cheek action comedies, like. But and there are jokes in T2. But anyway, basically, I don't think that he had figured out how to be funny yet when they made this movie, and I think that it is a problem with the movie. So he plays this man-child creature.
I think he's funny.
You think he's funny in this?
I think he's funny in this.
Like, I got maybe 2 laughs out of it, but it needed a lot more.
It wasn't like. This is going to be a contradiction. It wasn't laughing funny. It was just like
entertained funny.
I don't know. It was just like I felt warm watching. I was floating away, as you said. It's a very
it's well, I was for the first 20 minutes, and then I realized that there was an hour and a half left, and I started to get annoyed.
That is true. Like,
too much plot, and then there's like a villain who's chasing them with Scary Man with a gun. Oh, I didn't need that.
I can't not compare this to Central Intelligence. And
Sure,
just think
okay.
how much more wonderfully pleasant this is.
Absolutely, sure. Well, look, The Rock is obviously thinks he's the new Arnold, and he's not half like he's much worse at this than Arnold is. Like even like Twins make Central Twins is a lot better than Central Intelligence.
It is,
and he is a lot funnier than The Rock, even doing the bare minimum. But he
feels like he's having a lot more fun being the silly man.
For sure. But this was his first go at it.
I know.
The Rock was always silly because he's a wrestler. Like, that's the thing. The Rock comes from a place of comedy performance because wrestling is very comedy based.
But the Rock still has an inherent sense of insecurity about him.
Of course, but that's because he's got years and years of issues built up around whether he's funny or not, I feel like. Whereas Arnold was just fucking going for it. This is his first time trying, which I didn't enjoy, but I get that it was at least for him a novelty, and you can tell he's having fun.
Yeah.
Whereas, so DeVito plays the younger brother. Well, no, he's not younger. What does it say? Younger. It literally says older twin brother.
He must have popped out.
He's like 3 minutes older or something. Wait, are these guys the same age in real life? Important question. Arnold is 76 and DeVito is 79.
Really? Oh, I would have said the other. the other way around.
Sure.
Fair enough.
DeVito, it plays the younger brother who's like the twin brother who is like I don't know, he's just like a slimy guy with a ponytail who sleeps with loads of women.
Yeah, and
steals cars.
he owes a lot of money to people.
Yeah, he gambles and he steals cars and he's just a slimy guy.
The world's against him because he's short and ugly and has all the bad features that a person can have.
Exactly.
Because of a genetic experiment.
Yeah. So he has this girlfriend and he introduces Arnold to her sister, played by the late great Kelly Preston. Of course, was married to John Travolta, and died 3 or 4 years ago. I'm always a big fan of Kelly Preston. I loved her performance in The Cat in the Hat my whole life. She's so good in that as the mother. I can quote so many lines of hers in that film, and she is great in I've quoted this to you many times. She's great in For Love of the Game with Kevin Costner, where she gets to say, "Is this not America? Is baseball not America's favorite pastime?" Screams at the top of her lungs in an airport. Great performance. Kelly Preston's great. This film doesn't really give her a whole lot to do. She's just the camera just kind of leers on her and is just like, "Isn't this woman so sexy?" Really, she does nothing else in this film other than be kind of like oogled at. But she's a nice presence. Always good to see her. And she ends up with Arnold at the end of the film. And they have the film ends with both of the twin brothers having a set of twins, babies themselves
with the sisters.
With the two sisters. So they get with the two sisters, and Arnold has twins with Kelly, and Danny has twins with Chloe Webb, and we end up with 4 children of these two men.
To which Lucien yelled at the screen, "Their mother is their aunt."
Yeah, I thought that I got confused. I thought the kids' mothers were their aunt.
Yeah.
So that's what happens there.
No, the entire plot of this is driven by their quest to find their mother.
Yeah, and then the mother shows up, and she is played by can't even find that information here. Bonnie Bartlett, and they go to visit her at the end she's fucking 94 years old at an artist colony, and she pretends not to be their mother. She thinks that they're playing jokes on her because she was told that her son died, but in fact they were twins and they were alive, and then they're all happy at the end.
But
I feel like
it goes on this whole extra 50-minute tangent where they confront the doctor who does all the bad things.
Oh yeah,
there's all these sorts
so
of
much.
There's too many. Just
it should be 70 minutes long.
Extra steps.
They're twins. One of them's big. One of them's small. That should be the joke.
Yeah, if they want to find their mother, that's nice.
Can you think of any film that's just like a funny poster where someone's big and someone's small or something, and that's the movie, and there's nothing else to it? There's a few like boy party type movies like that. Like, I don't know.
All it is.
There's body swap ones, but that's a bit too complicated. I'm trying to think of one where the joke is just like big and small. Obviously, we've talked about A Little Heart and a Big Johnson, but I'm thinking of something where
that's another film
that's too complicated.
But it also gets too caught up in its own seriousness.
Is there anything that has no lore, no seriousness? It's just big and small. I guess the answer to that is like your sort of Three Stooges, and your Laurel and Hardy, and your kind of silent cinema inspired. Oh, you know what's a good example? I have one. Stuck on You, where Greg Kinnear and Matt Damon play Siamese twins.
Oh God,
that is a good version of this.
You introduced me to this a couple of weeks ago.
He didn't know this film existed. I put the trailer on, and he was shocked to learn who the actors were. Also, Meryl Streep is like the third lead of that film.
Have you seen that?
I have. It's pretty funny. It's Farley Brothers.
Like the premise is.
Yeah. That's a good, like, very simple, stupid gag. You get it from the poster, and that's the film. Yeah.
I don't know. This has just a pleasant 80s aesthetic because whatever. That I generally I'm just happy to hang out in.
I guess it's easy to hang out in, but
we were also making like a jigsaw when we were watching this.
We were making a jigsaw.
It's kind of a pleasant evening, bit of twins in the background while you're making a jigsaw.
I don't like 80s comedies. I don't like Ivan Reitman, and I don't like his generation of guys. I think these films are profoundly mediocre. Like,
that's not incorrect.
More mediocre than what was being done in the 2000s or the 2010s.
They're more mediocre from a comedy sense, but they're not as abrasive or annoying. Sure, because they don't.
Well, look, there's no comedies now. Like now, there's only action. There's only film. There's action movies that have a bit of joke that have some jokes in them. There's no actual comedies. But like I would rather watch the incredible Burt Wonderstone than this any day. I don't know if you
Sure,
disagree.
but that's because the three guys in that are like legit comedy guys.
Yeah, they're much funnier than. Well, DeVito is a legit comedy guy.
Yes,
but
I'm saying
he needs.
This is not a fucking Ryan Reynolds vehicle
for sure.
like,
yes, which is all we have now.
Which is all we have now, and which is why my bar for like,
of course,
that's nice, is so low.
I know. It's good to think a film could have made this much money just by being simple and stupid.
Yeah, and it looks good. A lot of the lighting is fun in the nightclub scenes, and like
true,
just pleasant. And they do these cool shots of expansive California desert.
Yeah, they do.
There was a shot that you were
cool
very
bridge.
impressed by. They were like, they don't fucking do this anymore. Where there's
True.
like a big, like, not a drone shot, but whatever way they did it.
Yes.
Of just like cornfields.
Mm-hmm.
And like,
so do you remember that Arnold and Danny presented at the Oscars together this year?
Oh, they did.
And it was kind of framed less as a twins thing and more as a Batman thing, where they started doing a gag where they started talking to Michael Keaton in the audience. Mm-hmm. And the joke was about how they'd both been Batman villains, even though Schwarzenegger isn't in a Batman movie with Michael Keaton. He's in a Batman movie with George Clooney. But anyway, that was the joke anyway.
They're all coming back into the multiverse.
Sure. And it was funny and it was good and it was a nice moment. And I think it was a nice moment of like, oh, Arnold Schwarzenegger's actually really funny when you put him with another funny guy. Mm-hmm. And I think, you know what? We haven't seen it. Junior might be a lot funnier than this. You never know.
Potentially.
Because they are a funny combo on paper. Arnold Schwarzenegger, no Oscar nominations, I'm afraid, for Arnold Schwarzenegger.
R.I.P.
Is he ever going to get one?
No.
I would say no. I think he might get an honorary Oscar. There have been a number of times in the last few years where he has been good and stuff. And people have been like, there's two films. There's a film about like his daughter is a vampire. And then there's the one that's like, there's a plane crash. I can't remember the names of either of these films. They both have very generic titles. Mm-hmm. I know that those are two films where people said that he was actually giving very solid performances in, but certainly not like we're going to give this man an Oscar nomination. I mean, he's just not that type of actor.
Yes.
And he's also, you know, a former governor of California. I think there's too many people he's pissed off politically. Even though in many ways now he is kind of weirdly the moral heart of the American Republican Party. He's like incredibly anti-Trump and talks about climate change all the time and seems to be probably the most left-wing person in the Republican Party. A high-profile person, if he's even still in the Republican Party, which I think he might have actually left. Chris Pratt is his, of course, son-in-law, which is really weird. And his son, Patrick Schwarzenegger, is an actor now. Danny DeVito has never been nominated for an Oscar for acting, which I'm actually very surprised by. Although he's not a serious actor. But you think of like if John C. Reilly has been, you'd think he had been. He has, however, been nominated for one Oscar as a producer, which I never would have guessed in a million years, of Aaron Brockovich.
Huh.
He nominated for Best Picture as a producer.
Yeah, fair enough.
He was nominated as well for a BAFTA for the same thing. He is winner of an Emmy in 1981 for Best Supporting Actor for Taxi, and he was nominated for Guest Actor in a Comedy Series for Friends in 2004, and he hasn't been nominated for an Emmy since. Isn't that mad that like
Always Sunny just doesn't get
even he can't get nominated for It's Always Sunny?
Yeah.
Golden Globe nominations, he got a few for Taxi, one for Ruthless People, and then his most recent one was the same year as this.
Yeah.
He was nominated for Throw Mama from the Train, which is also a boy party. That is a Billy Crystal DeVito vehicle that was directed also by DeVito, and he's nominated for two Screen Actors Guild Awards. He's in LA Confidential. That would have been his closest Oscar nomination opportunity, you'd imagine. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, that film also features Kevin Spacey, Russell Crowe, James Cromwell, David Strathairn, guys who are way more likely to get Oscar nominated than Danny DeVito.
Do you think he's got one in him?
I do, because Judd Hirsch got a first nomination for The Fabelmans, and him and Judd Hirsch are like from like years. You know, they go back to Taxi, and they're the same kind of guy. Judd Hirsch is obviously a little bit more known for his kind of serious work, I would say, maybe a little bit. Not really. I think if Judd Hirsch can get an Oscar nomination in his 80s or 90s even for The Fabelmans, I think DeVito absolutely has one in him. He just needs to be used by somebody in a kind of a mawkish grandfather role. Is that going to be like someone like Spielberg? I don't know.
We're going to do our thing we do in every episode where we like list Noah Baumbach as a guy we want to see these guys work with.
Yeah. Do I want DeVito to work with Noah Baumbach? I guess so.
Sure.
Like DeVito works with loads of interesting
put him
directors.
and Adam Sandler as a father and son duo and give them both Oscars. Like just do it.
He's not really of the same sort of cultural background as Adam Sandler, but
you could make it work.
79 years old. So Danny DeVito, do you want to guess his box office total? It's sorry, I was looking at his director total. I was shocked how low it was. Yeah. Any guesses?
1.2.
4.6.
Really?
And Arnold's is
7.4.
5.4. Not that big of a disparity there.
No. Where's DeVito pulling the cash from?
Jumanji, the next level is responsible for almost $1 billion of that. Dumbo, featuring the Arcade Fire song "Baby Mine." Yeah. Dr. Seuss's The Lorax. He did a voice in the recent film Migration. He plays famous. He has a cameo in Austin Powers and Goldmember.
If you're like a kid actor, you kind of like show up and just like.
I know. Batman Returns. He's of course the voice in Hercules. Twins is one of his biggest movies. Like,
how much does this make?
$216 million on a budget of $18 million. Here's how it costs so little. Because it was Schwarzenegger's first time starring in a major comedy, and the studio viewed it as a significant risk, he voluntarily took no salary in exchange for a share of the profits. DeVito and Reitman... Man,
that guy had a great time.
Right?
He was just having fun.
DeVito and Reitman made similar deals. When the film was a major success, the three together earned a significant share of the overall profits. Schwarzenegger said the decision to invest in myself was one of the best decisions of his entire life.
They don't make him like they used to.
No. So that's nice. So those are all DeVito's biggest films. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Big Fish, Romancing the Stone. He was in Haunted Mansion last year.
Oh yes.
He's on he's top of the list of old men to call for a kids movie. Because kids know who he is, and that's nice. I'm glad they do. Schwarzenegger's biggest movie of all time is only $500 million worldwide, which is interesting because he is so profoundly famous. It's funny that he has never been in a film.
Expendables 4?
No. Well, his biggest movie is Terminator 2, which was one of the biggest movies of all time at the time. It has just been...
James Cameron film, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It has just been increasingly outgrossed over the last 30 years to the point that it is now somewhat diluted. But in 1991...
Is it even top 100 anymore?
No, I wouldn't think so.
No, probably not.
Well, you never know. But I'd be surprised. Terminator 2, Terminator 3, Terminator Genisys. I'm being facetious calling it that, guys, but that's a long-running joke we have. All are his biggest movies. True Lies, Expendables 2, Total Recall, Terminator Dark Fate, Batman and Robin. He's not even the lead of a lot of those. And then Eraser, Twins, End of Days. He's reliable in the 150 to 200 range in the 90s. He's very reliable. Kindergarten Cop, Last Action Hero, Jingle All the Way, Junior, Predator, The Sixth Day, The Rundown, Conan the Barbarian, Collateral Damage, blah 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 blah.
Worked a lot. Good for him.
There's a few big hits in there. Cheap movies that he made into big hits. He's an important movie star. He's a guy who I would say hasn't really done a lot of boy party type films because he's so big. He doesn't really work with equal stars very often. The only real other case is when he works with Stallone in Escape Plan.
Yeah.
And then this, and otherwise he kind of he's always the one big star because
he's probably not a guy you can build a two-person story around because you really can't communicate enough ideas.
Exactly. You have to build an Arnold Schwarzenegger film for him specifically because he's got a weird voice. Yeah. He looks weird. He's got a unique energy. Because he's just he's a freak, with all respect, he's a giant Austrian man with a weird voice,
who dedicated most of his life to becoming the most muscular man imaginable.
Yeah, he's like a weird Austrian bodybuilder guy. It's insane. He's an insane personality in the history of American popular culture.
It's remarkable he became as successful as he did.
And became the governor of California for two terms.
a state with what, fucking 15 million people,
and like he got away with it. He like didn't like burn the place to the ground. He was ousted because of an extramarital affair. He didn't even do anything politically catastrophic. Like, well, it was an exploitative affair. It was with his housekeeper or whatever. Well, it wasn't a healthy thing. But he's just like, it's weird that he's like gotten away with it, and he's still just like very well liked. No one really has a problem with him, I feel like. He's just like,
Yeah, I don't know.
He will forever be beloved by the 1980s action movie man, and it has trickled down where I have time for him, even though I don't even like Predator and Terminator that much. It's interesting. Who won this movie?
I guess Arnold did kind of launch.
I guess so. Career. Yeah, exactly. I mean, he gets more comedy out of this. So it obviously did something.
Like, I know one of your complaints about Central Intelligence is that they made the large man the annoying one.
Yes.
And is that a specific thing to their dynamic of those two, or like, do you think that?
No, that's specific to those two. That's because Kevin Hart can only do the annoying thing.
Yeah.
This is a bit different because
I think DeVito's like giving.
I think DeVito has a lot of range. Like DeVito could do either. That's the thing. He's not in one lane as much as Kevin Hart. Do you like the tagline, "Only their mother can tell them apart" on the poster?
Not really.
No, I
like it sounds good when you say it, but then when you try and think about it a little bit, it's like, what?
There's way funnier things you could have. I mean, I guess the tagline, like, you don't need a tagline.
Good things come in bears.
Yeah. You don't need a tagline. It's just the picture is funny. The picture tells you all you know. The twins. Yeah. You honestly, it could just say Schwarzenegger, DeVito, twins, and then down the bottom, "They're twins!" ! Or like, "These two."
It takes a lot of DeVito and a big Schwarzenegger to.
Yeah. Saving the world takes a small DeVito and a big Arnold. Yeah. A small Danny and a big Arnold. No, it doesn't work.
No.
Good poster though. Big fan of it. Wish the movie was as good as the poster.
The leaning is
Schwarzenegger billed first because he's a larger man and a bigger star. But the names come up at the same time on screen at the start of the movie, and they're equal size on the poster. And I think that's nice, and that DeVito really is, it's a proper two guys movie, and then they got a guy who's really famous to be in it with Schwarzenegger.
We haven't had a whole lot to say about this.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can shit on Ivan Reitman for 2 minutes. I don't like Ivan Reitman. I think he's a bad director. And his son is also a bad director. So Ivan Reitman, of course, made Ghostbusters, which is a 3-star movie that has somehow spawned like 20 fucking sequels, and all the worst people in the world think it's great and never shut up about making more and how women can't be Ghostbusters, and it makes me so depressed. He made that, and he made Stripes with Bill Murray, and he made Legal Eagles with Robert Redford, and he made Kindergarten Cop and Dave and Junior, and he made 6 Days and 7 Nights with Harrison Ford, and My Super Ex-Girlfriend with Uma Thurman and Luke Wilson, a really weird movie. He made No Strings Attached with Natalie Portman and Ashton Kutcher. Most of these that I'm naming are boy party movies. Yeah. And then his final film is Draft Day, classic Kevin Costner, Griffin Newman, Chadwick Boseman football comedy. Well, it's a comedy. It's like
No, it's not a comedy.
That's another movie that would float away in the breeze.
That was
so fucking unserious.
Was it The Vulture or Variety that did the 5,000, ranking all 5,000 films since 1980 or something?
And it was like in the middle.
It was the 2,500th film. Right? I forgot this is the most middle of the pack film.
That's funny.
Ever.
Yeah, I think Draft Day is kind of fun.
I think that's probably correct.
I think Draft Day is his best film that I've seen. Sure. I've seen like 4, and it's the best one.
Sure.
He then gives his stupid son a career, and we get treated to the Jason Reitman cinematic experiment. Jason Reitman, I will say, I'm being very harsh. I do like some of his films. So Jason Reitman's films are Thank You for Smoking, okay. Juno, not bad. It's fine. Up in the Air, bad. Young Adult, okay. Labor Day, bad. Men, Women, and Children, a fascinating disaster that I'm kind of obsessed with, and I've seen.
I thought you just genuinely liked that.
I think it's fun. I think it's worth watching. Okay. Tully, I haven't seen. The Front Runner is kind of good. It's boring, but it's kind of good. And then he made Ghostbusters Afterlife, which is absolutely horrible. He wrote and produced the most recent one, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. He executive produced Whiplash. I'll give him a lot of credit for that. And then he's currently directing the most nightmare fuel garbage film ever conceived, SNL 1975, a movie about the first episode of SNL, starring the kid from The Fabelmans as Lorne Michaels, Cooper Hoffman as Dick Erbasol, Rachel Sennett as Rosie Schuster, Dylan O'Brien as Dan Aykroyd, Corey Michael Smith as Chevy Chase, Nicholas Braun as Jim Henson, Nicholas Padani as Billy Crystal, J.K. Simmons as Milton Berle. I mean, this is just... And Willem Dafoe as David Tibet. Like, this is a nightmare. And it's so narcissistic because, again, it's Jason Reitman thinking that his dad and his dad's friends are the most interesting people who have ever lived and making a movie about what they were doing in the 70s. And it's like, dude, like, get a new interest. Like, all he's interested in now is remaking his dad's films, Ghostbusters, and making a movie about his dad's friends doing a TV show in the 70s. Like, grow up. You are an adult man. Like, grow up.
Have your own ideas.
So
there's a man who's going to put Thunderstruck in one of his films.
Yeah, I have problems with Jason Reitman, as you can tell. The man has fucking 4 Oscar nominations, and Danny DeVito has none. Anyway,
does
he didn't
The
make
Odd
this...
Couple with Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau have a size element?
No, it has one is grumpy and one is... No, The Odd Couple is like a...
I hit on a little chat GPT, tell me films that have
No. Lemon and Mathau's thing is that one of them is grumpy in one way and one of them is grumpy in a different way. That's...
don't trust AI, kids.
Yeah, no, don't trust AI. So that's my Reitman man, my or. And now...
Say 2 nice things about Jason Reitman.
What?
Or say 2 nice things about Mr. Reitman now.
Jason Reitman or Ivan Reitman?
Either. No, I'm joking, please.
I'll say this nice thing about Ivan Reitman. He is dead. He cannot make any more movies. Okay. Now, I am going to do the credits game. So, I am going to list for Shane the credits of a movie starring one of these boys from bottom to top, according to Letterboxd, going up to the top billed star. Shane's going to have to guess it as fast as possible. And I can give him a year if he wants or not.
Yes, please.
You would like a year?
Yes, please.
Okay. I will give you the year. The year of this is going to be... I haven't picked the movie yet. That's the problem. Give me 1 second. This is a fun one.
Go on.
All right. 2003. Okay.
Continue.
Edward Edwards, Danny DeVito, Philip Perlman. To be clear, Danny DeVito does not have to be first build on this.
He's way down.
Danny DeVito, okay. Philip Perlman, Tracy Walter, Geraldine Hughes, Jeanette Goldstein, Christina Kirk, Tim McCullen, Christopher Doyle, Cheryl Klein, Maya Rudolph. Wallace Shawn. Come in.
Okay, we're in there. We're strongly in the comedy.
James Remar, Robert Wisdom.
Let's pause it there.
The next one's gonna give some stuff away.
Okay. I didn't think Maya Rudolph was in films.
We have like 8 names left.
8 names left.
Mm-hmm.
Danny DeVito.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. There was one other name I knew in there.
Yeah. Maya Rudolph, Wallace Shawn.
Yes. Yeah. Keep going.
Jackie Sandler.
Right, so it's a Sandler. Not necessarily.
Jackie Sandler's in this movie. That's all I'm telling you is that Jackie Sandler is in it.
Is this like Little Nicky or something?
No, it's not Little Nicky.
Okay.
This is much better than Little Nicky.
Continue.
Swoosie Kurtz. Justin Theroux.
Okay. Right. Hang on.
5 names left.
A minute. Is this Mulholland Drive?
No.
I know it's not Mulholland Drive.
Imagine if fucking Wallace Shawn was in Mulholland Drive. That would be great.
That would be really good.
And Danny DeVito. I want Wallace Shawn to be in Lost Highway.
I want Danny DeVito.
I'm in your house right now.
I'm in your house. No, do it, Danny DeVito.
No one can do it, Danny DeVito. Danny DeVito. I don't know. How does Danny DeVito talk? He's kind of
Italian.
Danny DeVito is so... He has so much presence in meme culture. Like,
yeah.
Between the fucking troll toll and I feel like there's 100 Danny DeVito things.
I saw a Danny DeVito meme of him today crawling through the portal nude.
I would say that
Like,
he is the second most memed actor alive after Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, he's in that bracket.
Yeah.
But it's never in mean spirits.
Not at all. Oh no,
Nothing but affection.
He's
that man.
beloved. He's the actor version of Michael D. Higgins.
Yeah, you can play him.
He's also like a massive socialist, left wing.
Yes, very,
just
very
a wonderful person. A wonderful
unlike
person.
our-
A great guy.
our
He also
Republican government buddy.
him and Rhea Perlman, wonderful couple, been together for years. They fucking adopted Mara Wilson basically because her mother died of cancer when they were making Matilda. Just wonderful people. Anyway,
Jackie Sam.
and she was submitted to the IFTAs for Barbie. Rhea Perlman. Anyway, I'm going to keep going because this is taking too long.
Sorry.
Harvey Firestein, Eileen Essel, Amber Valletta. We're up to the top 2 names. Drew Barrymore.
Okay. Is Adam Sandler number
No.
No. Who's first then?
Ben Stiller. Ha, fuck you.
Yeah. Is this Duplex?
Duplex.
This is Duplex.
Directed by Danny DeVito.
Oh, yes.
You silly Billy. You forgot that crucial piece of information.
Duplex.
The first movie we ever did on Adam and Ben was a Danny DeVito film, Duplex.
Who's Justin Theron? Oh, he's his friend.
He's a
I guess.
friend.
Yeah.
Duplex, known in Ireland and the
Duplex.
UK as Our House.
Our House.
Now, sir, quiz me on the top movies of 1988, please.
I will.
I will not get the weekend this came out, but I might get the year. I might get the year.
You might get the year. Do you want to guess the year?
It's 88. Tell me the top movies of the year, I'm saying.
Oh, let me.
I don't have a good enough knowledge of the 80s to get anything more specific, so hit me.
The first film
Yep.
is a question.
It's a question.
The title is a question. The title asks a question.
Okay. Whose life is it anyway?
No, but you got the first.
That was a good guess.
Yeah, you got the first word right.
Who's something something?
There's a name in there.
There's a name in there. It's the biggest movie of the year. And it has a name in there.
According to this source.
It starts with whose.
Yeah. Or no, just two.
Oh, who?
What? Very much one of those films that 80s/90s kids remember a little too fondly. It's slow and not funny.
That's my review.
That's your review.
It's slow and not funny.
Not that funny.
Yes. This is the Robert Zemeckis movie, Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Reminded me too much of the Happy Time Murders from my own,
Exactly.
from my own good.
Yeah, that film has a lot of Happy Time Murders vibes.
Oh, just like puppets ejaculating.
Well, it's cartoons.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like what if cartoons were all
Or
like
dirty.
getting erections? Like
Yeah.
that film sucks. Sorry, Who Framed Roger Rabbit is not good.
Next film's not any better.
Okay.
This is a film that had a recent recent sequel,
Interesting.
a 1998 to 2022 gap.
Jesus. Top Gun.
No.
Okay. Interesting. Comedy.
Yep.
And the original actors came back.
Indeed.
Jesus. Black Man, White Man.
That'll give it away. Black Man.
Black Man. Eddie Murphy.
Indeed.
This is Coming to America.
It is.
I can't remember. Have I seen it?
You haven't it logged.
I don't. Yeah, I've only seen the second one. No interest, I'm afraid. We made a short film in school, and a guy in our class based his character entirely off of the performance Eddie Murphy gives in Coming to America.
Oh, God.
as a man from an African country, out of place in a Western country,
Yes.
trying to explain
Playing
the
a
ways of his
teacher.
people to everybody. And I didn't realize it was a Coming to America thing until years later.
Yeah, it was just kind of a stereotype character.
Yeah, but it's Coming to America.
Yeah.
People love Coming to America. I don't think I would find it funny. The second one has some awful, tasteless humor in it. I feel like it has sexual assault jokes, transphobic stuff. I really didn't like it. Sorry, we didn't even mention the Eddie Murphy. So they were trying to make triplets.
Oh, of course. Sorry.
They were trying to make triplets with Eddie Murphy
Yeah.
as the triplet. And then Eddie Murphy dropped out and they replaced him with Tracy Morgan, which would have been quite funny, I think. And then Ivan Reitman died and Jason Reitman said, yeah, we're scrapping it. Sad.
Yeah.
Jason should have just made it. It would have been funny.
It's also funny that these two are twins, but one's like very Austrian and one's very American.
Oh, it's hilarious. Yeah. Anyway.
No, that's an avenue
That's
that
good.
Explorer.
All right.
Next up,
Yeah.
the title is probably the most famous line from the film.
The title is the most famous line from the film.
Yeah. I didn't actually know this was the name of the film. I just knew
What?
I just knew it by the quote.
I don't even know where to start with that.
It features a famous man, a famous dead man.
Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Is it a comedy?
No.
This movie's called Good Morning Vietnam.
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't know it was called Good Morning Vietnam. You just knew that he said Good Morning Vietnam.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm never watching that. That looks boring.
Kind of a bad name for a film.
Good Morning Vietnam. I think it's a good name for a film.
I think having a comma in your
Good morning,
title
comma, Vietnam.
Yeah.
But it has to have a comma. Otherwise, he's saying,
Don't worry, darling.
Good morning, Vietnam. It has to be Good Morning, Vietnam.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
I'd like to point out that the top 3 highest grossing films of the year are all like comedies.
Yes, starring very famous men.
What a time to be alive. Like,
Number 4 doesn't stop the trend.
it's not Twins.
Close.
I don't know. What else could it be?
A very short word. 3 letters.
I don't know.
This is Big.
Oh, Big. God, what a year.
By Thomas Hanks.
All the 2-star comedies are in here. Like,
Oh no, it keeps going.
oh no. What's next?
I literally think it keeps going all the way down to like 10.
So what else were they putting out?
Yeah.
There was no superheroes. This is what
This next one is a sequel, and again, just like awkward man in the wrong place that he's not supposed to be.
Okay, who's the awkward man?
I don't know his name.
You don't know the awkward man's name. You don't know. Interesting. So it's not a big comedy
It might be
star.
someone like incredibly
What?
obvious. I just need to.
You don't know who's in it though from the title. It's not that you haven't heard of this man.
You're gonna have to give me a second.
I'm gonna have to give you a second. Interesting. Well, folks, in the meantime, you can visit boypartypod.com or follow boypartypod on Twitter and Instagram. You ready?
Yeah.
You ready to do your job?
I don't know this man.
You don't know who this
He's
man
a very,
is.
very well-known character.
A very well-known
But
character.
I wasn't sure if it was played by someone famous or not. This might be someone you're going to scold me for.
What kind of character is it?
I said it's a man in a place that he shouldn't be, and his own set of norms and values are the butt of the comedy.
Is he transported through time?
No.
Is he an alien?
No.
Is he from another country?
Yes.
Crocodile Dundee.
Crocodile Dundee 2.
Oh, that's the one where he goes electric eel fishing in the Hudson River.
Sure.
That movie sucks. Crocodile Dundee is awful.
And do you know who plays Crocodile Dundee?
Yeah, it's Paul something.
Paul Hogan.
Paul Hogan, yeah. Yeah, they made a movie in 2020 called The Incredible Mr. Dundee, where he plays himself opposite screen legends and not at all bad people, Chevy Chase and John Cleese. Oof. So that's the company that he keeps.
Yeah.
Those movies
he's
are terrible.
One of those guys.
Again, films that are just rife with transphobia. Just awful stuff. Anyway. That's not a knife. This is a knife. Ha ha ha.
We got another.
Brendan's dad loves Crocodile. Anyway, keep going.
We've got just another like dudes doing a task that confuses them.
Okay, we're at 47 minutes. You just got to tell me. I give up.
3 men and a baby.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Oh man, these are all stinkers.
We would be so depressed if we lived in 1988. We'd have nothing to go see.
Next up, Die Hard.
Jesus, you're joking me.
No.
Die Hard should have made more money than all of those. That's a real film with action. For fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Where's Twins?
This list must be dodgy. I'm on Box Office Mojo. Is that a problem?
No, I think that's very reliable.
This is domestic now, so I guess.
I mean, that still says a lot.
Then
Like,
we've got Moonstruck.
Sure.
Cocktail.
Oh Jesus. Yeah. Cruise.
Are these all comedies as
Nicolas Cage. Cruise. They're certainly nothing. They're not anything else.
We've got Beetlejuice.
Okay, yeah, that's a good film.
Fish Called Wanda.
Yeah.
Willow.
John Cleese. Willow's Willow is the first movie on this list that would be on this list today. A fantasy epic.
Okay.
With special effects and costumes and creatures.
Yeah.
That is the first film on this list that would make the top 10 in 2024, potentially.
We have got Rambo 3.
Okay, sure. This was This makes more sense. Like,
I'm looking up Willow.
but like, well,
Warwick Davis.
yeah, Willow's like a Lucasfilm Morris Davis thing.
Ron Howard.
Yeah, there's a Disney Plus show
Then
now.
we've got Scrooged.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Bull Durham.
Yeah, Kevin Costner.
and then Twins.
And then Twins,
Then
yeah.
Twins.
Like, if you made me watch all those films over a month, I wouldn't be deeply unhappy, but they're all like 2.5 stars. Like, that's a bad year for American cinema. Jesus.
Yeah, I'm going to look at what was the Oscars this year.
It's a really good question. I don't know. Are we in like Rain Man times?
We're really dragging this podcast. You can turn it off.
Nothing
Keep
you.
talking.
Yeah, let's finish up in 30 seconds. Tell me what won Best Picture that year, and then we're wrapping up.
The Last Emperor.
Yeah, that's actually coming out in Criterion this month.
Huh.
Yeah, Bertolucci. All right. Thanks, everybody.
I think that could have been the year before.
Thank you.
Never
Goodbye.
mind. Bye.
Thanks for tuning into a Twins episode. BoyPartyPod.com. See you all soon. Bye-bye.